All gather around the campfire, but do not say his name, because Madman Mars, he's gonna get you. Madman stars Galen Ross and is directed by Joe Giannone. What's up, guys? Welcome to a brand new review. This is for one of those camp slashers. I love camp slashers, and the three that I constantly hear the most about are Friday the 13th, of course, The Burning, which I reviewed last year, I believe, and now Madman. I constantly hear about these three, and I've always been told, I can't believe you haven't checked out Madman yet. Well, now I finally have checked it out. It's actually on Amazon Prime. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, there you go. Go check it out for free. Also, guys, before I get started on this review, there will be spoilers. If I review movies that are like 20, 30 years old, it's gonna be a spoiler review, so you have been warned. But just to give you a little bit of backstory, the original story for Madman was the Cropsey story from The Burning. And they were shooting these movies around the same time. And so I guess the production on Madman, they figured out that, hey, the production on Burning, they were telling the Cropsey story. So they had to completely change the story. So there might be some similar elements to that story in this, but they completely created a new killer named Madman Mars. And he does have an interesting backstory. The legend of Madman Mars was he was a married man and he just went crazy. He was a lunatic and he killed his family, killed his wife, killed his kids. And then the townspeople, they killed him, or at least they thought they killed him by hanging, but they didn't. He escaped. And so now there's this campfire legend. And that's what's cool about this is it opens up with one of those campfire stories. Everybody, when they go camping, one of the things that people love to do is tell those scary campfire stories. And this one opens up with one of those.
Many strange things happen around here. He was a farmer, wife and 2 children. We used to live in that old house behind those trees. For no apparent reason, we'd stark, raving mad.
You got this old man and he's telling the story about Madman Mars. And he even says, do not say his name, because if you say his name, then he will hear it and he will get you. And quick little segue, that story of him killing his family really reminded me of the Villisca murders because it was a similar style of crime. So I'm wondering if maybe they borrowed a little bit from that story, even though the killer in that one had nothing to do with the actual family relation-wise. But this guy, he ended up killing his own family in pretty much the same fashion. Now, one thing I do like about this one, if you're gonna make a movie that's similar to 2 other franchises or movies like Friday the 13th, like The Burning, then you're gonna wanna set yourself apart. I think one thing that this one does is the whole movie takes place at night. Whereas in those other ones, you do have some daylight action going on, but in this one, it's pretty much, the whole movie is just over one night. There's 0 daylight in this whole movie. At least I didn't remember any. If you have a slasher movie, you want to have a good killer. And I think Madman Mars is an interesting killer, especially visually. He looks like a Sasquatch. He looks like Bigfoot, really. He even walks around barefooted. His feet don't look human. And the cinematography in this movie, I think it takes advantage of how scary Madman Mars is. A lot of times you never see his face. All you see is like the shadows of him, and it's really effective. You don't see his face until the end of this movie, actually. One thing they do is they highlight his strength. He has this like freakish superhuman strength. And they showcase that at the beginning because you have like 3 guys and they're trying to lift this axe out of the stump. And then later in the movie, you see Madman Mars, he lifts it by himself, no problem. But one of my favorite kill scenes in this is a hanging where he lifts one of the characters up and the character is trying to save himself, but then Madman Mars grabs him by the belt loop, yanks him down, takes care of business. Also, I really did like the main lead actress in this, Betsy, played by Galen Ross. She does a great job, actually, and I like a good slasher with a good final girl. But what's interesting about this, it kind of reminded me of Splatter University because it's not really your traditional final girl, being that there is like a love scene in a hot tub, which is really awkward, by the way. And she's in the hot tub having a love scene with the guy. And usually the final girl, there's no sex. They just make it to the end of the movie and then, they live. And again, that's another thing. She gets killed at the end of this movie, which is crazy. And I like when directors, they have the balls to actually do that, to kill the final girl. And really, the winner is the killer. Now, as far as any cons, to me, this is probably my least favorite of the big 3 camp slashers. Well, I guess you could include Sleepaway Camp too, and I like Sleepaway Camp better than this as well. But that doesn't mean it's not good. And also, some of the kills do get pretty repetitive, and Friday the 13th is highly guilty of this too, actually, in some of the later sequels. But you know, you have a victim, and they go looking for one of the other characters, and then they get killed. And then another victim comes up, does the same thing, gets killed. And it gets pretty repetitive. But overall, guys, I still had a good time with this one. I'm gonna give it a humdrum. It's definitely one that I think has rewatchability value. If you want just a straight up spooky camp horror movie, then you could do worse than Madman. So anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on Madman? Looking forward to hearing them. Post below. Also, guys, be sure to become a member of Killer Flicks, where we talk horror all day and every day, and on Fridays we do Free For All Fridays. If you like what I'm doing, hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Follow me at Drumdums on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a great day, and Drumdum out.